Like, it made me feel like I was taking a weight off of me. And, I can get emotional just thinking about it, because you don't realize, how much your mental is connected to your outer environment. Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. I am hoping that in this video I can just share some thoughts and maybe convince you, if you're not someone who sort of practices self-awareness or knows about it, to really put it into practice. There's a need for a lot of healing to sort of happen, and I'm just hoping that my channel can bring some of that to a little part of the world. Like, self-awareness for me is like a lifelong challenge of improving myself and doing it in the way that I remain open to new experiences, new messages, new people, new opportunities to learn about myself. You are a multifaceted being in this world, and knowing that in a way that you become more protective of your energy, what you allow yourself to be consumed by, what type of experiences you go out and pursue in this world. Growing my self-awareness and working on my self-awareness has made me feel more connected to life in general. It's really helped me to weave through like the bullshit that we go through in life and see it in a way that is more positive than negative. It's very hard to be self-aware when, one, you're not surrounded by good people. When you look at who you keep in your circle, who you're surrounded by, what type of energy are they keeping around themselves? What are they focusing on? How supportive are they? How self-aware is your circle? What are their goals? You start to look at those things, and you get to a point where you say, okay, these relationships or these friendships that I have aren't pouring into me in a way that's beneficial. People can go through tough times, and it can totally consume them, and it can lead them to depression, and it can break them down, and it can cause them to be stagnant and to kind of freeze in this space in their life where you find it kind of hard to move forward and get out of it. I do think in self-awareness there is healing. Healing of yourself and healing of your past and past traumas. And then the other thing is, if you're someone who is always on the go, always on the move, always like having to run around and do things, your mind is constantly like flying around thinking about not the moment that you're in or not the day, but what you have to do tomorrow, what happened yesterday, what's coming in a month, a week, a year. It can be really difficult to tap into understanding yourself. And then, of course, social media. I feel like social media, Instagram, even YouTube at times, when you're looking at things that aren't serving you or bringing positivity into your life or challenging you to look at yourself and where you can make improvements in a good way, right? In a healthy way, then it really becomes difficult. So how can you start to build your self-awareness? I think first and foremost, it starts with you looking at yourself objectively. You have to be able to kind of take your emotions out of situations and really look at things for what they are. Really try to look at things from a different perspective. Naturally, as humans, especially as a woman, I know that, I'm extremely emotional about a lot of things. And sometimes it can be hard to pull my emotions out of something. Switching my mindset, coming out of that and thinking, okay, let me look at this situation as I'm playing myself on a game board. Like, that's the analogy that I always refer back to when I'm in a situation where I feel like I'm not understanding something or I need to see things differently. And the person that's playing me is also me. But I need to be in tune with that higher version of myself. I read this book. It's called The Untethered Soul. It talks about this idea of an inner roommate. The idea is that there is this voice in your head, right, that is constantly narrating and narrating and narrating everything it sees. Always yip yapping on your shoulder. It's like a little, you know, like you know how they have like the devil and the angel, and the angel is the cool, calm, and collected one, and that's the one we kind of want to tap into. That's the part of you and the part of your mind that's able to, you know, see things in a better perspective, that'll be more beneficial to you in a long run, versus the little devil hanging on and telling you to focus on these things that are in the grander scheme of things relatively small. So the next thing that I've done for myself that has really, really, really in so many ways helped me through, it's been journaling, writing things down, documenting them on video, voice, you know, all types of ways. And I talk about this in so many of my videos. Like, I used to be the type of journaler who would like write the date at the top and be like, "Dear Kelsey, you know, today I did such and such. Oh, I get arthritis real quick, like my hand starts to hurt." And so what I've done was I started to really shorten my writing and not put that pressure on myself to write like an official journal entry. I have like a notebook like this, right, that I keep at my desk, and I write everything down in there that comes to me as I'm sitting down at my desk. I also have like a smaller little moleskin journal that I'll take with me. Like, I'll keep it in my car, or sometimes I'll throw it in my purse. I use the Notes app in my phone a lot, a ton. Whenever a thought comes up and I don't have paper around me, I'll jot it down in the Notes app. The other thing that I do is I just text my own phone number, and I saved my phone number in my phone under self-love. So every time I have some thought that comes up that I want to hold on to or I want to remember, I can simply text it to myself. I also use Post-it notes a lot. If I have like a thought that comes to me and I know that I'll want that thought to come up like 2 months from now or 3 months from now or a year from now, what I'll sometimes do is I'll write it like on a Post-it note, and I'll put it in a place where I know I'm not going to look in that place until 2 months, 3 months down the line. I don't know if y'all watch Being Mary Jane, but that's one of my all-time favorite shows. And I used to love how she would always write like quotes on stickies and put them all over her like bathroom, her glass walls. Like, she would put them everywhere. It was her little way of having an awareness moment, having like a moment of clarity or just thinking. Another thing is the voice memos on my phone. I use voice memos all the time. Sometimes I even like will record a video of myself, not to share it with anyone, not to put it on YouTube, not to put it on Instagram, but just to record myself, record my moment. There's so much technology and so many tools we can use nowadays to really like document and remind ourselves of things. The next one is to self-reflect. We can write things down, we can make a voice memo to ourselves, but if we capture it but we don't revisit it, then what's the benefit? You know what I mean? Like, you probably got it out of your mind for that moment. We live in a world where it's so easy to just kind of jump from the one thing to the other. We have to have these moments of just silence to yourself where you can stop and really tap into your experiences and your thought process. For me, that happens a lot in the shower. I talked about this in one of my other videos. I'll link it here somewhere. Lighting a candle and taking a shower at night for me has been very peaceful, and it's allowed me space to myself where I can just, you know, relax my body, relax my mind, and just kind of think about things. Okay, so the other thing for me that has kind of helped me grow my self-awareness is building my knowledge of how we are wired as humans. A couple years ago, I got really into just learning about like the human brain and our conscience. You know, I don't know everything, of course, but just definitely reading books, you know, like this one here, I think is a good starter. I think it's one of those books that really has changed my life. The other thing that I've kind of learned to do is ask other people for their thoughts on me. I saw some advice that if you want to understand yourself more, then it's best to ask people you trust to tell you about yourself. Like, hey, what do you think some of my strengths are? Or how do you think I can improve? Like, what do you think I need to focus on? You'll get some really helpful information. If the person you're asking truly cares about you and loves you, they're not just going to give you like some blanket statement. You know, I think that they'll really tap into their experiences and observations of you and tell you their true thoughts. And there's knowledge in that that you can take away and reflect on and figure out how you can make some adjustments in your life based on what these people are saying to you. Then the last thing, the importance of keeping your surroundings clear of like useless junk and clutter. They say that your environment is like a reflection of your mind. And so if your environment is messy, if your environment is scattered and cluttered, then what does that say about, your mind and your thoughts? It took me years to get to a place of like just owning less. And I lived in a 3-bedroom house, just me, and I had 3 bedrooms to kind of fill up with whatever I wanted. Kitchen cabinets for days, I just put everything in there, and I would just buy up a bunch of stuff. I had like 2 walk-in closets plus 2 guest rooms that had closets filled with stuff. And then once I moved to LA into like a 500 square foot apartment, I ended up being crammed. So having moved, I want to say like 4 times in the 5 years I was in LA, it became clear to me that I had way too much stuff and I was constantly having to clean. But once I made the commitment to myself of, okay, I need to just sort of own less, I looked into minimalism. And I don't think that I'm a full-blown minimalist, but I think that in a lot of ways I'm starting to adopt the principles of just not being connected to things, having a small amount of things so that you really appreciate the stuff that you do have and the things that you do use. And so it was in practicing and learning about minimalism that I became a lot clearer on my spending habits and my habit of holding on to things for way too long. Also, it was like the process of getting rid of stuff became like so freeing. Like it made me feel like I was taking a weight off of me. And, I can get emotional just thinking about it because you don't realize, how much your mental is connected to your outer environment. I didn't realize that until I started to get rid of stuff. But things that I know I hadn't touched in like 6 months to a year, I would put it in like a pile. And I would sit and like look at that pile for a little while and think to myself like, dang, I might actually like need this stuff one day. I don't want to get rid of it. But after, like a few days, I got tired of looking at the pile. I would try and sell it off. I sold a lot of stuff on OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, but the things that didn't sell, y'all, I became so cool with the donation people at Goodwill because they would see me all of the time. Then it's just helped me have a bigger appreciation for my belongings and taking care of them and taking care of my space and making sure that things stay organized and they have a home and that I'm not living in excess. So I hope that these tips helped you guys. Those are all the ones I could like come up with off the top of my head. I may make a part 2 to this at some point because I think that it's a topic we can sit here and discuss for a very long time, but I don't want this video to be too long. So if you guys found this helpful, if you have anything you want to share, then comment down below and let me know. I hope to see you guys in my next video and take care. Bye.